Hi, this is Dodger and you're watching my show. Do you like my Murloc? Do you like my Deathwing? Do you like my shirt? This is like my first year buying stuff at Blizzcon because normally that line is out of control. Anyway, so Blizzcon 2014 just ended and my very first thought was, that was an amazing BlizzCon. It was like so fun. There was so much cool stuff going on and I decided that today I wanted to make a video in place of news that would basically be my top 5 favorite things from BlizzCon, or my top 5 things that made BlizzCon rad this year. So you know, whatever, let's just like do it. First thing I want to talk about is the floor, because in the past, it's so underwhelming. Like, I understand when you have 3 major franchises, it's like, we're just gonna break it up into 3 big pieces and then you can just walk around and enjoy. But like, this year there was so much more variety. It wasn't just, here's Diablo, here's StarCraft, and here's World of Warcraft, have fun. It was like, here are those, but then also, here's multiple stages, because we not only have panels going on, we have so many esports events going on. And here's Overwatch, and here's Hearthstone, and here's Heroes of the Storm, and just so much more stuff going on. You felt like you had a lot to do. And I've never felt that way at BlizzCon before. And even if you felt like you wanted to do something else again, it didn't feel like you didn't have a variety of other things to fill your time before you went back to that thing that really caught your interest, right? And the stage was great. They still had, you know, so many chairs and so many screens. That was all pretty much the same as in the past, with like the big main stage and then just so many chairs. And building off of that, since I'm talking about the main stage in general, there's such a feeling at BlizzCon, and I felt like it was stronger than ever this year, where the community was so cohesive. The people who were there were so supportive of everything. And not in a way where it's like, you can do no wrong, Blizzard, in a way where if somebody really preferred World of Warcraft but didn't really watch StarCraft, they still respected StarCraft as a game. Right? Or if somebody was super into Hearthstone but didn't really play any other Blizzard games, they were still like, man, these games are really cool. There was such a cool feeling of support. Like, BlizzCon is supposed to be a community event, right? More than anything, it's supposed to bring the Blizzard community together. And it felt like it did that. It felt like everybody who was there was jazzed about everything and so willing to just try stuff and support each other and meet new people, and it was awesome. The feeling in general of being on the floor and being around the people who were there and the community was very open and inviting, and I felt completely comfortable there. Next thing I want to talk about, since we touched on this, is esports. So again, talking like an old lady and being like, when I went to BlizzCon, I've basically only ever gone to BlizzCon and watched StarCraft. Like that felt like the only thing there was to do. Like, sure, I could stand in line for a couple of minutes and then play World of Warcraft. But other than that, the most interesting thing was always StarCraft to me. I felt like my goals every year were sit somewhere where I could kind of see and watch StarCraft 2. And then maybe possibly find a seat to watch the costume contest. And that's like it, man. This year I had so much I wanted to watch, to the point where they were overlapping and I was like, oh no, I have to make decisions, right? I didn't even get into the StarCraft 2 finals because it was so jam-packed with people, which by the way is awesome, because everybody keeps talking about like, StarCraft 2 is dead, no one cares about it anymore. Guys, I literally couldn't get in there. There were so many people watching the StarCraft 2 finals that I could not get in. I showed up too late and they hadn't even begun, right? Which is amazing. So there was StarCraft 2, there were Hearthstone semifinals and finals, there was Heroes of the Storm games, there was WoW Arena, there was like so much going on. And WoW Arena has been around before, but it was never like, StarCraft always got the big spot, right? StarCraft was always right in the center with a huge screen with Tasteless and Artosis, which are probably, you know, the most well-known gaming duo around here. So like, it was just, you just felt like WoW Arena was taking this awkward backseat to everything else. But this year, it felt like everything was kind of equal. Like, everybody was very, very interested in watching Hearthstone. Everybody was very interested in seeing the show matches for Heroes of the Storm. Everyone was very interested in, like, if you walked by WoW Arena, it got enough of a spot and enough focus that people would sit and be like, I don't know what's going on in this, but all I know is people are not dying very fast. Guys, people don't die in WoW Arena. Like, it takes forever. Those games last so long. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't get it. The healers are so OP right now. It seems like the healers are just like, oh, are you almost dead? Here's full life. I was like, I don't understand. Anyway, my point being that rather than it being esports brought to you by StarCraft 2, it was esports brought to you by Blizzard. And here's all of the Blizzard games and all of the things that are so intriguing to watch. I felt like everything was getting really good focus and really good community and like new people watching it. It was incredible being there for the Hearthstone finals. That area was packed. It was completely packed with people, and the finals took like no time at all because, you know, it's just like Firebat 1 and 2 games. But man, I was like, this is insane. This is so many people. Goblins versus gnomes, very excited about that. Not only excited because goblins and gnomes are basically my people, I'm excited because I think that the cards are interesting. So for those of you who don't know, they announced an expansion pack for Hearthstone that is called Goblins vs. Gnomes, and it's lots of mech cards, lots of silencing cards. It's interesting. The cards are very interesting. So Krender and I wound up playing against each other. They had it set up where if you were sitting across from someone at a computer, then you were playing that person, right? And my favorite moment probably is when there was a card that came up. It was like a bomber card, right? So it was like, it'll do 6 damage randomly to anyone on the board. I, for some reason, read that as, cool, 6 damage to anyone on my opponent's side. No, no, no. It meant everybody. And like 3 of the bombs hit my face, hit like my character. I was so disappointed. And then Krender and I just kept going, whoops, 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 because you can emote with your character. So we were just going whoops, 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 back and forth for the rest of the game. But it was really fun. Yeah, they gave you a mage gnome deck, and then what was the goblin deck? Shoot. Either way, they're giving you a lot more mech cards and lots of cool ways to use those mech cards. And actually, before the Hearthstone finals, we went to see a Hearthstone panel with Hafu and Trump, and both of them were going through different, basically they simulated an arena, right? Like building an arena deck. And then Hafu and Trump argued about which cards would work best, but they also discussed a lot of the new cards that are coming out with Goblins vs. Gnomes. And that was really interesting because like Trump is so methodical about it. He's so like, well, this card is technically worth this much, and in relation to this card, it doesn't make sense to use this card because this card is worth more in this sort of a situation. And I was like, I can't fall. I don't understand anything that's going on, but I really liked using those cards in the game that I was able to play with Krender. So I'm excited for those cards to come out. I think they come out early next year. Is that what they said? Or did they say next month? Oh gosh. Okay, it is released this December. And the other thing that I forgot is a lot of these cards are RNG, random number generators. So that'll be really infuriating to a lot of people, which I also love. Anyway, so yeah, that was a really cool thing that they announced. Although, I don't understand why they're calling this their first expansion. Like, did Curse of Naxxramas not count as an expansion? Why would it count as DLC instead of an expansion? I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, you guys want to talk about Overwatch? Overwatch! So Overwatch is dope. I was not sold on it at all when all we saw was the cinematic, because during the opening ceremony, you know, they announced the game, they showed us the cinematic, and it looked like a straight up Pixar movie, and I couldn't tell what sort of a game it was going to be. So I kept thinking like a brawler, I guess. Like, I don't know. There are obviously very distinct characters who have very distinct abilities. Like, I have no idea. And then a few minutes after that, they showed us actual gameplay, which was so nice. And of course, they let us actually play the game, and I played it 3 times. It's basically TF2 meets Borderlands. That's how I'm explaining it to people, because the layout of the game, the way that the game works, it's very, you know, capture the points, payload, that sort of a thing. You have some characters that have sort of tower defense-y elements where they can put up turrets or become turrets or things like that, you know. And the Borderlands aspect comes in because it's not just, okay, you're a class and you have like 3 weapons that you can switch between, right? Like in TF2. In this, you don't feel like you're playing a class or a type necessarily. You feel more like you're playing a character. They have very distinct personalities, very distinct weapons and abilities, and the way that they play and they feel when you're playing with them is very specific. It was great. I loved it. I really loved the way it felt. Apparently, Jesse and Davis broke the game, and then Sam and Yogscast also broke the game in 2 completely different ways. Like just basically trying out methods of spamming all of the same character, or yeah, that's basically what they did with with both of them. But it was cool. It was really, really cool. I'm really excited for it. As somebody who loves TF2, I'm really excited for this game. I don't think that a lot of people are getting really huffy about Overwatch because they love TF2 so much. I've been getting lots of messages being like, Overwatch looks dumb, TF2 for life. And I don't feel like that's a healthy way to think of it, because the only way that these sort of games are gonna grow, like there aren't a lot of games in the genre that TF2 is in, right? Like this weird first person capture team v team sort of a thing. There need to be more. There need to be more of them so that the genre can grow, so that the game type can become better than ever. And right now we don't have that. So I'm hoping that people will start to see it more that way. And maybe when Overwatch comes out, you know, who knows? Maybe TF2 will improve, or maybe TF3 will happen. Like, who even knows? I would love to have more games like that because I love playing it. It's so just like, you know, you hang out and you play a game and it's fun and it's quirky, and I'm really excited for that game to come out, and I hope that I'm able to get into beta. Winks to any Blizzard employees who stumbled onto this video. But I really, really enjoyed it. I really loved it, and I'm excited for it to come out and for us to see what sort of a pay model it has and things like that. It's gonna be interesting. They've been talking about making a Warcraft movie for so long, since I started this show, which was like 4 years ago. So this year, not only did they come out and say, oh, we're making the movie, we also got a panel, like a full-on panel with Chris Metzen and Rob Krasinski, where like everybody talked about what's going on with it. We got a trailer, we got a clip with the full effects of what the orcs will look like. It was really, I mean, no one could walk away from BlizzCon going, they're not really making that movie. Now it really feels like it's happening. And not only that, I'm so glad that I made my Warcraft video before I went to BlizzCon, because when I was in the movie panel, I knew all the characters. I knew like what they did and what they were going to do, and I knew the storyline. It was amazing. It was so cool. I felt like I had done all of my prep work necessary in order to really appreciate the things that they were talking about in the panel and the way that they were presenting the story. Because like this year, so not only was this BlizzCon best BlizzCon ever, it was also 10-year anniversary of WoW and 20-year anniversary of Warcraft in general. So for them, it's like we've had this universe and these characters and this story for 20 years. Like, the pressure to make sure that this story is told the right way in a movie format is insane. But you can tell they're really trying to take the care to make sure that it turns out really well, because, you know, Blizzard isn't making the movie, it's Legendary who's making the movie. So they're working very closely because it's their baby. But yes, it was very fun. I had an amazing time. I would like to say to Blizzard, you did a great job. You were so organized. Everything seemed to go off without a hitch to me, aside from the power outages, which whatever, that happens at conventions all the time. But like, the future of Blizzard is looking real good, you know? There's a lot going on, a lot of cool new stuff going on that seems like it's going in the right direction. And even the old stuff is still being handled with a lot of care and love, and that's really great. It's really great, and the community was amazing. And I just had a fantastic weekend. So I would encourage any of you who have thought about going to BlizzCon. I think after this year, they'll be able to nail it again and again in the future. So next year's BlizzCon is probably going to be awesome. So there it is. Anywho, that's been my show. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a positive or a negative response, feel free to leave it in my comment section. And if you would like to have coffee with me, you can click wherever I put the annotation and it'll take you to my other channel. But otherwise, I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend and I will talk to you again next time. Bye-bye. Mwah.